If Adam had not eaten the fruit that Eve offered, the entire course of human history would have remained within the original state of innocence and uninterrupted fellowship with God. The moment of disobedience in Eden would never have occurred, meaning humanity would not have entered the condition of sin, shame, and spiritual separation from the Creator. Adam and Eve would have continued living in the Garden of Eden under perfect harmony with God's presence, experiencing life without guilt, fear, or death. Their relationship with God would have remained open and direct, with no barrier between heaven and earth, and no need for redemption or sacrifice because sin would not have entered the world at all. Humanity would have multiplied in purity, meaning every descendant of Adam would have been born without a sinful nature, living in the same original righteousness and innocence. Without the fall, there would have been no curse upon the ground, meaning work would not have been painful or burdensome. Labor would still exist, but it would be joyful, creative, and fully fulfilling, with no frustration, exhaustion, or hardship attached to it. Nature itself would have remained perfectly aligned with human stewardship, producing abundance without resistance. Thorns, suffering, and environmental decay would not exist. The world would remain in a continuous state of peace where humans and creation function in perfect balance. Death would also not exist, because death entered through sin. Therefore, humanity would continue living without the cycle of aging, decay, or separation. Human existence would likely expand across creation in a peaceful, God-centered growth rather than through struggle or survival. Spiritually, humanity would have continued to walk in direct communion with God, similar to Adam and Eve walking with Him in the cool of the day. There would be no need for prophets warning against sin, no law given to restrain wrongdoing, and no history of rebellion, judgment, or exile. The entire biblical narrative of sacrifice, temples, and atonement would not exist because there would be no separation requiring restoration. The concept of salvation through a redeemer would never have been introduced because there would be nothing to save humanity from. In that reality, the role of Christ as Redeemer would not be needed in response to sin, though His divine purpose as the Word of God through whom all things were created would still remain foundational in a different sense, as creation would continue to reflect Him in uninterrupted purity. Human relationships would also remain unbroken by jealousy, hatred, violence, or pride. There would be no wars, no murder, no corruption, and no suffering caused by human evil. Every interaction would be rooted in love, truth, and divine alignment. Knowledge would still grow, but without the corruption of pride or misuse. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil would remain untouched, meaning humanity would learn and expand under God's guidance rather than through rebellion and painful experience. Wisdom would be gained in harmony with obedience, not through moral collapse. However, one important consequence is that humanity would not experience the depth of understanding that comes from redemption, mercy, and forgiveness. Concepts like grace, sacrifice, and salvation would remain unknown because they would never be needed. Human beings would live in innocence rather than restored holiness. The story of suffering turned into redemption, which shapes much of spiritual understanding today, would never unfold. Instead, existence would remain in a steady, unbroken state of original perfection. In this scenario, history would not be a struggle between sin and redemption, but a continuous expansion of life under divine presence. The earth would remain a living reflection of Eden, growing in beauty and order without corruption or decay. Humanity would still fulfill the command to multiply and have dominion, but in a world untouched by pain or death. Everything would remain centered in obedience, peace, and eternal fellowship with God, without the interruption that came from Adam's choice.